Hello, and welcome to another edition of North Penn Answers. I'm your host, Joe Sullivan, a member of the North Penn School Board. On this program, we answer questions posed by our residents and dispel rumors spread through local media. Joining me is Vincent Sherpinsky, President of the School Board. Welcome. At the last school board meeting, you announced the formation of North Penn Alternative Revenue Committee. Who do you see on this committee, and what is its mission?
At the action meeting in October, I announced the formation of the Alternative Revenue Committee. The school board has been exploring this idea since 2009, and following this year's innovation celebration, which was a showcase of ideas from our employees, community members, and vendors to find alternative revenue, reduce cost, and increase savings, we have fast-tracked the idea to build on the successes being implemented already in the district. The committee will consist of 5 to 9 members, all of whom must be residents or taxpayers of the North Penn School District. I, as president of the school board, will serve as the liaison between the committee and the school board. The goal of this subcommittee is to make recommendations to the school board concerning possible alternative revenue sources. We have been reaching out to other school districts in Montgomery and Bucks counties and through the Pennsylvania School Boards Association to identify and develop numerous sources of alternative revenues other than taxes. The effort to date has yielded significant savings for taxpayers since 2009, and it is our hope that going forward we can do even more. Any residents of the district desiring to be selected as members of the committee should forward their resume to the North Penn School District Attention Robert Schock at 401 East Hancock Street, Lansdale, PA 19446. Interest should be expressed and received no later than Tuesday, November 15th at 4:30 p.m.
Wow, that sounds like an interesting committee. Yeah, have you heard while you were speaking with other school districts about some of the ideas that they're implementing?
Absolutely. Some of the other interesting ideas that have come from other school districts have been ways to raise revenue without taxes. They include making special vendor contracts. They include other things like trademarking our symbols for the school district and making sure that local vendors who want to sell those things pay the price for it. One of the other things that we've noticed in other avenues for alternative revenue is there are lots of partnerships out there working with bigger companies, national as well as state, willing to partner with us to move some areas of curriculum forward. We already have one now with MISE, which is the Merck Institute for Science Education, and we're looking to partner with some other businesses as they do it. And visiting other school districts and finding out what they do there helps us so we don't have to reinvent the wheel, and at the same time gives us some ideas to explore.
Well, Vince, that sounds like a great idea. I look forward to hearing some of the things that come out of that committee. As you know, last year we were working to close the budget gap created by declining revenues and a severe cut in state funding. The board made a decision to postpone the planned renovations at Englewood, Montgomery, and Hatfield schools by at least 1 year. Since that time, rumors have been circulating that one or more of those schools may be candidates for closing. Vince, can you address this rumor?
Absolutely. First off, we are not closing any schools. While enrollment has decreased, it has only been reduced by about 120 students since 2008, and there are no plans to close any schools. The school board voted to delay these renovation projects to reduce the 2011-2012 debt service cost. Debt service is the cost for the borrowing of funds to pay for the renovation projects. By not borrowing the additional money in this year's budget, we didn't increase our debt service. So once again, any rumors about closing schools are false.
I understand there's been an increase in the right to know requests. I also know that there are some inaccurate statements in the press that the school district recently violated the law. Can you shed some light on these inaccuracies?
Sure. Over the past few months, we've experienced significant increase in right to know requests. In fact, since July 1st, we've received more requests than we received for all of last school year, and that's fine with us. We want to provide the community with the information they need and want. Claims that the North Penn School District violated the right to know law are false, and the school district has never been found by the Office of Open Records or by the courts to have done so. In the past 2 years, the only information that has not been provided to requesters has been the home addresses of our employees, North Penn families, and contractors. This is not public information. Any community member who would like access to district documents may easily do so by completing the Right to Know form on the district's website. If the information requested is public information, it will be provided within 5 working days. If more time is required to complete the request, the district may ask for a 30-day extension to gather whatever information is requested.
Thank you, Vince. Next, we have an email question. I recently checked in at my child's school and was asked to provide my driver's license to create a visitor's ID. Can you tell me about this system? I certainly can. What you experienced was our Raptor system, which the school district has installed in all our secondary schools. This system provides a background check for all our visitors to our secondary buildings. Ray Wilson, North Penn's head of security and Safe Schools coordinator, has more about the Raptor system and some of North Penn's other safe school initiatives. Ray?
Thanks, Joe. I'd like to talk a little bit about the Raptor system that we have in North Penn School District. The Raptor System is a national company which is based in Houston, Texas. And the company is an internet database company, and we use that to check the sexual registrations of people in the United States. So when we get a visitor coming into our school, they produce their driver's license that runs their license through our system and then goes into the national database, and they are checked. If they are clean, what happens is a badge is printed out, and it's put on the badge where they are going in the high school, and it's a great tool that we use. So if somebody is in the high school and security or a teacher sees somebody, they need to have this badge on there. It's been very good for us. The system has worked very well. Have had little problems with the database, and it's been a great system. And we are starting to now use them for some of our volunteer programs and checking volunteers that come into our school district. And it's one thing that we're using to keep our kids and our staff safe in the North Penn School District. And since implementation in 2009, we have checked over 13,000 visitors in our secondary schools. Hopefully soon we will expand the Raptor system and go into our elementary schools, and I hope that will be coming soon, and I will go to each school, set it up, and then we will go from there. I'd like to tell you about a few things that I'm doing with Safe Schools also. We do safety drills quite frequently throughout the year. We do fire drills, intruder drills, and severe weather drills. And this again, we cooperate with the local police departments, fire departments, and EMS personnel, and do these drills again to keep our staff and students safe in the district. We also have a class system. It's an acronym for County Law Enforcement Assistance Network. What that is a button that we have in each one of our schools that if there's an emergency, certain individuals have access to this button. They can press the button, and it's like a panic alarm, and it goes right to our 911 dispatch center in Eagleville, and then the police, fire, or EMS are dispatched immediately. We've been tweaking this system for several years now, and that has worked very well too. I do checks on the system several times during the year, and a county official comes out with me every once in a while to fix problems and to check the system out. One other thing that I'm doing that I'm very proud of in the district, and that's internet safety. Myself and Dr. Nicole Yetter, and sometimes we have a guest police officer, we go around to various schools in the district and teach kids and parents about internet safety. This, as you all know, has become a big issue these days now with the cell phones and technology. And we are actually starting these classes in 5th grade. We do 5th grade, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. And it's been doing very well. We talk about internet safety, how to protect yourself on the internet, cyberbullying, and myself being a former police officer, I go into some of the ramifications, what can happen when the kids do some bad things on the internet and on their cell phones. And that's about it. I'm working closely with all 6 police departments that that work with the North Penn School District, and we're trying to streamline some things for response times, and that's another one of my duties that I'm proud of. Again, I was a police officer, and I have a great rapport with all the police departments that cover the district, and we feel that there's ever a problem here that we can handle it fast, and again, trying to keep our kids and our staff safe. So that's about it, and back to you, Joe.
Thanks, Ray. We have a few questions about how items are brought to the school board for discussion and approval. Vince, can you share with our audience how an initiative or program is brought forward to the board for discussion?
Sure. As with any initiative that comes to the school board, it always starts with the district staff and personnel. When an item is ready to be discussed at the board level, it first goes to the appropriate board subcommittee for discussion and analysis. Our subcommittees include Education, Community Policy, Support Services, Finance, Personnel, Safe Schools, and Special Education, to name a few. Here at these committee meetings, an issue is presented by district personnel. The community is able to join in on the discussion, ask questions, etc. If there is a need for more information or clarification on an issue, district personnel will come back to a future meeting to present the updated information to the subcommittee. If board action is required, the committee then makes recommendation to bring the item up for discussion at a school board work session. Presentations are typically made at work sessions for full question and answer sessions with the full board and the community. If action is required, meaning a school board vote, the item will be moved to the action meeting where a vote of the full board will take place in public.
Thank you, Vince. To help us better understand how the committee meetings work, let's take a look at Support Services, chaired by School Board member John Schilling.
Hi, I'm John Schilling. I'm the chair for the Support Service Committee. I'm North Penn School Director. Well, what we try to do is we have Mr. Strobel give us an update on all our construction projects or anything in regards to support service, whether it's transportation or whatever. And we invite the public to come out and to, hear the updates and so forth, and then we discuss them, and then we recommend to the board certain projects and so forth, change orders, or we have questions. Sometimes Mr. Strobel has to go back, get the questions answered, and then he'll come back to the next committee meeting usually, and we'll resolve them, and then we'll end up going to the full board.
That's moving right on to action, right?
Yeah, what we do right on to action. Yeah. But we also have things like vandalism updates, security updates. Let's say a boiler might go down. All different types of things. Sometimes what we'll do is we'll go to a work session, but sometimes where we feel that there shouldn't be a problem at all, we'll recommend it to the action meeting. Most of the time, it's renovations. Of course, Mr. Strobel will bring it to us, and then we'll have the architect come in, and he'll give different drawings and so forth. And in certain instances, we may have, let's say if we have a question where he says, okay, we want to put, instead of 2 classrooms, we want to put 4 classrooms on. Or we want to keep a modular here, or whatever. And sometimes we'll recommend that you do it as an alternate bid, and things of that nature. So it basically it breaks in certain aspects, it breaks certain things out of the project, or it may, it just goes into a lengthy discussion, and we kind of get all the bugs out before it goes to the full board. Sometimes we'll have a lot of people here in regards to a particular project. It really depends upon what we're doing and where it's at. Sometimes you may have very few people come out, or sometimes I'll say this: if it's a bus issue, and you have a rerouting of a particular, or taking away a particular route, you'll have quite a few people come out and they'll discuss it. And then one project we went through, I remember a few years ago, we had a particular renovation project. We had quite a few people come out, and I thought we worked through it pretty well. And a lot of their questions were answered, and there was really no surprises. So, I think it's committee level's a really great opportunity for people to come out and get a preview of what's going on and give their input so they can get their questions answered before it actually goes to the board level. I believe the committee structure exists is so that local people can come and put their input in and also be informed. And to me, it's worked through the years. And a lot of people have been put to rest because they've come out, given their opinions and so forth regarding a particular project or whatever. And we've listened to them, gotten their questions answered. And they're not always happy about what our answer may be, but they feel that they've had input into the process, and we've given them respect to their opinions and so forth. And, you know, I think of myself, you know, anytime I go even anywhere to a meeting and I give an opportunity to give my input and so forth, you walk away feeling that you contributed to that, you know, particular project or transportation or whatever in the district. And, you know, I think that people enjoy being involved. I'm encouraged by the people that do come out. I mean, sometimes we don't have a lot of people coming out. I'd like to see more people become involved, and I think it's a great thing for the community to come out to our meetings, to give their opinions, and you know, be part of the process. And
hopefully that sheds some insights on how the committee process works. Just to rehash a little bit of the situation, or how the process works. A concept or an idea is submitted to the board via a subcommittee of the board, where the idea is discussed and decided whether it should be sent to the full board. At that point, it's sent to the full board at a work session, where at the work session, the idea or concept is discussed, and it's determined whether the idea has to go back to committee for further work or review, or the idea, concept, innovation should be sent to the board for action.
Right. One of the things that the committee process gave us was two things, actually. One, we were able to have even more community input by having a subcommittee review the idea or the concept or whatever the issue is that's coming forward. The key to that is that we have subcommittees of the full board that specialize, like we said, support services, education, community policy, finance, specialize in those areas where the members are not only educated, tuned to the issues, but have a lengthy experience in that area. Also, they're paired with the administrators who are part of the committees and help share the information and expedite any kind of discussions. That helps us increase community input, gives us more opportunity to refine what we're doing, and then that may go from that committee, once the work is done and all the analysis is complete, take the issue to the next level, which is the work session. When we set up the committee process some time ago, and it started in 1997, that helped us not only increase community input, but give people the opportunity right from the ground up to be involved in an issue that we were discussing. A lot of people don't realize that when an issue comes to the board for action, it's been discussed not only at the full board level in a work session, but also most likely many times at the subcommittee level, and that the time process could be anywhere from 2 months to a year out, and that these discussions have been taking place for quite some time, not just when it came forward at the action meeting. And that's important to note because, again, we've increased the possibility for community input by having a committee process, and it's really worked out very well for us.
Yeah, I find that there's a lot of frustrations from people that come to the podium at action meetings when they have a comment or question, and they seem to feel like, or have made assertions that we already have our mind made up.
The key there is it's an action meeting.
Right.
It's coming for a vote.
Right.
And we welcome public comment at any of our meetings. The key, though, is this is an action meeting where we're going to vote on an issue. And you're right. There are times when people come to an action meeting and have not participated in the earlier processes, whether it's the subcommittee or the work sessions, where these topics and discussions and concepts and issues have been talked about for the greater part of whatever that time schedule is. Some issues have been out more than a year. So that's a little frustrating for them because they think they come to a meeting and hopefully they want to give us their opinions, their comments, and it's great because we're willing to listen and hear them and incorporate them in our thought process and our actions. But at the action meeting, we've had a lot of analysis done and a lot of other discussions, and now it's here to hear public comment to see what people think about.
Yeah. Now, there was an action meeting or two where people came to the podium. I had my mind made up. I was going to vote a certain way, and then the people made compassionate arguments against why we should send it back to committee, or arguments for why we should send it back to committee for further discussion because maybe we didn't consider everything, and we did send it back. So it isn't like coming to the podium in an action meeting may not have an effect because there's times where it does have effect.
Sure.
And we send it back.
I was elected, my first election was in 1997. I've experienced the same thing where somebody may come to the podium and raise an issue or raise a point of view or raise an idea that maybe hasn't been considered yet. And that's when you're willing to step back and say, okay, let's explore it a little further and see if that's worthwhile. And that's, again, goes back to that committee process or the full work session for the full board, depending on what the issue is or what it's raised. That's important. That's part of the political process. That's part of the governmental process. And we encourage that all the time because that has helped us. There have been community volunteers who have stepped up, and it's similar to what I'm trying to do with the Alternative Revenue Committee. They come forward with great ideas that help us. The Innovation Celebration was a perfect example of millions of dollars in savings and great ideas that over the next 4 or 5 years we're going to be able to implement.
Thanks, Vince. That's it for this edition of North Penn Answers. If you have any questions you'd like to see answered on this show, please email northpennanswers@npenn.org. We encourage everyone to send us your questions. Thanks for watching.